Dear students, we are in the fourth chapter of our history. Chapter 4 is all about the Mughal Empire. So today we will start a new topic which is Mansabdars and Jagirdars. Now let's begin the class with the Mansabdars and Jagirdars. As the empire expanded, so with the expansion of the Mughal Empire, Mughals, they had recruited people belonging to diverse culture. So people of diverse, or you can say there were variation in the Mughal Empire, you can say like that, because in the Mughal Empire there were people of different culture and tradition, because they started recruiting diverse bodies of people from a small, you can say area. They expanded their territory, which include Iranians, Indian Muslim, Afghan, Rajput, Marathas and other groups. So the people who used to join the Mughal service were named as Mansabdars. Now Mansabdar, the word Mansabdar is referred to the people who used to join the Mughal service. The term Mansabdar refers to an individual who holds a Mansab. Mansab means a position or a rank. So the term Mansabdar refers to that individual who holds that particular rank or position, which is also known as Mansab. It was a grading system used by the Mughal to fix rank, salary and military responsibility. So the Mansabdars were the people who used to join the military service. So this system of, you can say, Mansab, this system was actually a grading system, in order to fix the rank, the salary and the military responsibilities. Mughal has introduced this Mansabdari system. Now rank and salary were determined by a numerical value called Jat. So rank and salary was determined by what? By a numerical value, and which is known as Jat. J-A-T. Jat-A-T, Jat. The higher the Jat, the more prestigious was the noble's position in court and more salary. So higher is the Jat, high is the position in the court, and also high in salary. The Mansabdar's military responsibilities required him to maintain a specific number of Sawars or cavalrymen. So the Mansabdars, they used to maintain the specific number of cavalries. The Mansabdar brought his cavalrymen for review, got them registered, their horses branded, and then received money to pay them as salary. So under the Mansabdar, there were these cavalry men. Mansabdars received their salaries as revenue assignment called Jagirs. So Mansabdar, how they used to gain the salary? Through Jagir, through revenue assignments. But unlike Mustis, most Mansabdars did not actually reside in or administer their Jagirs. So like the Muktis, Mansabdars, they did not reside in or administer their Jagirs. They only had the revenue of their assignment. So they only had the right of the revenue, of their assignment. So whatever work is given to them, whatever area is given to them by the ruler, they can only get the revenue from that particular area, which was collected for them by the servants, while the Mansabdars themselves serve in some other parts of the countries. So the revenue, they only had right to the revenue of their assignment, which was collected for them by some servants, and in some areas Mansabdar themselves collect this revenue. In Akbar's reign, these Jagirs were carefully assessed so that their revenue were roughly equal to the salary of the Mansabdar. So during Akbar reign, what we have seen this Jagirs, just now I said that Jagirs, Mansabdar, they received their salary as revenue assignment, and this revenue assignment was known as what? Jagir, but which were somehow like iktas but not totally same. So in the Akbar reign, what we had seen, these Jagirs, okay, the plot of land which was given to the Mansabdar to get revenue from it. So it was roughly equal to the salary of the Mansabdar. By Aurangzeb reign, this was no longer the case, and actual revenue collected was often less than the granted sum. Okay. There was also a huge increase in the number of Mansabdar. So we can see the number of Mansabdar was increasing with the passage of time. Okay, before they receive a Jagir. So the you can say whatever money they used to receive earlier, okay, that become less with the passage of time. You can say like that also. The Jagir became less because most of the population, okay, there were increase in the population of Mansabdar. You can say like that. This and other factors created a shortage in the number of Jagirs. Okay, so as the number of Mansabdar increased, the area became less. Okay, the number of Jagirs became less. The plot of land became less. As a result, many Jagiras tried to extract as much as revenue as possible. So whatever money they used to earn from the Jagirs, from the land only. So they have a small plot of area now. So whatever area they have, from that area they try to extract as much as revenue they could collect. Aurangzeb was unstable to continue this development in the last years of his reign, and the peasantry therefore suffered a lot. So during the reign of Aurangzeb, we had seen that this peasantry, okay, they suffered a lot. Now Jab and Zamindars. So what do you mean by Jab and what do you mean by Zamindars? This is our next topic for today. The main source of income, okay, was through revenue, through tax which is collected from the peasants, from the producers. In most of the places, these peasants, they used to pay tax to the ruler through some headmen or local chiefmen. So this headmen and local chiefmen were termed as jamindars, and they were the intermediaries between the rulers and the producers, and they used to collect revenue from the producer and submit it to the ruler. And they were named as what? Termed as what? Zamindars. Akbar's revenue minister, Todarmal, what did he did? He had, you can say, done a survey, okay, survey of the crop field, okay, the revenue collected by the rulers for 10 years, okay, for how many time period? For 10 years, from 1570 to 1580. And on the basis of the data only, they had fixed a particular tax for the peasants, okay, and this tax was collected by the zamindars. And for individual crop, for separate crop, there were separate tax, okay. So for wheat there is some other tax, okay. For you can say rice, some other tax is there. So for wheat they are paying 2 rupees, for rice they are paying 1 rupee. So for different crops they have different tax, and the tax was fixed, and it was fixed from the survey of Todarmal, and it was a 10 year of survey, okay, and from the time period 1570 to 1580, okay, the survey was that. Then this revenue system was known as Japt. So this revenue system, the fixed revenue, okay, and for individual crop, individual revenue, separate revenue, okay, the revenue was not same for all the crop. So this system was known as only Japt, and the people who used to collect the revenue were known as zamindars. It was prevalent in those areas where Mughal administrators could survey the land. And they also have a carefully, you can say, they used to do this thing carefully, and there were also account, okay, that how much revenue they had collected, okay, from which area they have collected, okay, how much of revenue they are collecting. From A area they are collecting suppose rupees 5, so from B area how much they are collecting, suppose from B area they are collecting rupees 8. So they used to keep all this account, so they used to keep all this record, okay. This was not possible in provinces, but this record was not possible to keep in the provinces like Gujarat and Bengal. In some areas, the zamindars, even they had exercised great power. So these zamindars, they became so much powerful that they even revolt against the Mughal administrators. Okay, in some places, we had also seen zamindars challenging the Mughal administrators. So, in 17th century, these zamindars, okay, they were so powerful, not so they used to show their power in front of peasants. So peasants were not at all happy with the zamindars. So as a result, in the 17th century there were various revolts, okay, and this revolts was done by the peasants against their zamindars. So that's all for today's class. I hope you have understood. Now let me do a quick recap. At first we had known about mansabdars and jagirdars. Now mansabdars were actually the people who were recruited to the military force or to the army, okay, according to their rank, salary, okay, military, you can say according to their position, okay, their was separate salary for the mansabdars, okay, and military responsibility. So it was fixed. Mughal administrators, they used to fix the salary, okay, of the mansabdar on the basis of their rank, and also military responsibilities were given to them on the basis of their rank or position. This rank or position was only known as mansab, okay, it was termed as mansab, and the people who used to join the army force were named as mansabdars. Now rank and salary, they used to get this rank and salary from jat, okay. You can say the rank and salary was determined by jat. Jat is actually the position, okay, higher the jat, higher the salary and higher the position they enjoy. So more prestigious was the noble's position in court, higher the jat, the larger his salary. The mansabdar military responsibility required him to maintain specific number of cavalry men. So they used to maintain what? Cavalry men. And they also used to collect their salary from the revenue, okay, which was collected from jagirs, okay, from the plot of land. So like the you can say ikta system, you remember na, there were suppose plot of land which were given to some people, isn't it? So from that plot of land only they used to get their salary. So these mansabdars were also given some jagirs, and from that plot of land, from that jagir only they used to get their salary. So on the basis of their rank they were given jagirs. So during Akbar reign, we had seen that it was a rough data, okay, and it was equal to the salary of the mansabdar. So the jagir was, the plot of land given to the mansabdar was equal to their salary only. But during Aurangzeb's reign, we had seen a change, and this change was that revenue collected, okay, was often less in compared to you can say in the longer decrease, the actual revenue, okay, collected was often less than the granted sum, okay, whatever sum was granted to them, okay. So the salary was less, okay, during Aurangzeb's reign, okay, the jagir was less in compared to whatever they should get. There was also a huge increase in the number of mansabdar. That is also one of the reason why they are getting less jagir, okay. The salary, suppose they has to get 2 rupees salary, but they are getting only jagir which is 1 rupee of course. So the jagir they are getting is less in compared to this salary, and this we had seen in Aurangzeb's reign, and also it proves instability in the mansabdari system. Now Jab and Zamindars. Now the main revenue was collected from the peasant only as tax. So there were some people, okay, who used to collect the tax from the peasant, and these people were named as zamindars. Todarmal, he has done a particular survey of 10 years from 1570 to 1580 on crop field price and how much how much revenue they had collected from each crop, and on the basis of that, what Akbar did, Akbar had introduced a particular fixed tax in the society, okay, that the peasants have to give a particular tax for a particular crop. Fixed tax was there, okay. So individual crops has individual tax, like rice, if they are collecting tax rupees 1 from rice, then from wheat they are collecting rupees 2, like that, okay. For different crops different tax was there. This revenue system was only known as Japt. So Zamindars were the people who used to collect the revenue, okay, like the headman or local chieftain, and the Japt is the system of revenue. That means fixed revenue was collected, isn't it? So individual crop has individual revenue. So this system was known as Japt. With the passage of time, we had seen that these zamindars, they became so powerful that they even revolted against the Mughal administrators. Peasants were not at all happy with the zamindars, because the zamindars, they used to show their powers in front of the peasants and collect huge amount of tax from the peasant. As a result, in the 17th century, there were many peasants who revolted against zamindars. As a result, we had seen that it has challenged the stability of the Mughal Empire from the end of the 17th century. So that's all for today's class. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have any kind of queries, feel free to contact me. Okay? So enjoy. Bye-bye.